lot of these farmers, they don't make a lot of money, but it's a way of life, and they love their way of life, and they love that dirt. That dirt is the most beautiful thing they've ever seen. They love it. I mean, they're farmers. They love doing it. They don't know how to do anything else, but they don't want to do anything else.
Keep these comments from Trump in mind as we take a look at how his isolationist trade and tariffs policies are impacting some American farmers.
You ever think when you voted for President Trump that things were going to cost you more and you were going to lose money?
I never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump now?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
It's more than just the tariffs. For the past 2 years, Jim has been selling honey to the federal government, which then provides it to schools and food banks. But after Donald Trump took office, the USDA cut those programs suddenly as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
$150,000?
Yeah, roughly 50% of my revenue.
1 in every 4 rows of soybeans in every field in the entire United States of America has to go abroad. China is the largest importer of soybeans in the world. They import 61% of the world's market. Last year, we sent around $12 billion, I think $14 billion worth of soybeans the year before. For the first time in 20 years, China's bought 0 soybeans and 0 new crop corn out of this country.
0?
So we went from 12 billion to 0.
China consumes 61% of soybeans produced worldwide. The rest of the world is 39%. Of the soybeans that American farmers produce, 25% currently have been going to China. And right now, we have 0 sold for this crop that's starting to be harvested right now. So it's a 5-alarm fire for our industry that 25% of our total sales is currently missing. The American soybean farmers and their families are suffering. There's 500,000 of us that produce soybeans, and we desperately need markets, and we need opportunity, and we need a level playing field so we can compete, because we grow a great product, but we have to be price competitive as well. And there's an artificial barrier that is built with these tariffs that makes us not be competitive.
Pause for a second and think about the reality this fiasco has created. Hundreds of thousands of American families, the same families Trump and the Republicans claim to care so deeply about, they're having their livelihoods threatened as a direct result of this Trump-backed policy. And here's where we keep our focus. Don't aim your anger at the farm workers on the margins trying to survive. The real accountability belongs with the already wealthy farm owners and the party apparatus using the entire industry as a political prop. Consider what's happened in 2025. USAID purchases that move roughly $2 billion of U.S. farm products each year ground to a halt. Multiple programs frozen, leaving farmers who invested based on signed agreements holding the bag. That's not efficiency. That's policy whiplash with real human costs.
Right now, it's predicted soybean farmers can lose $200 or more per acre on this crop. A farmer like myself, we have 1,200 acres of soybeans. That's $240,000 of loss. That's a whole lot of Airbnb and other alternative forms of income.
This entire crop went into the ground in Arkansas below the University of Arkansas's production. That means no rice, no corn, no beans, no milo, no peanuts, no anything would generate a profit at current inputs and the fall market prices. At current market figures in the fall for delivery and the current average yield, a cotton farmer is going to lose $375 an acre for every acre of cotton he planted. A corn farmer is going to lose $220 an acre for every acre of corn he planted. A bean farmer is going to lose $120 an acre for every acre he planted.
This is the bigger through line. Tariffs and trade theatrics that punish the very producers they promise to protect. Farmers and AG economists warn sweeping tariffs raise input costs from equipment to fertilizer, trigger retaliation abroad, erase key export markets, especially for soybeans. In fact, farm leaders say retaliatory measures have made U.S. soy uncompetitive against Brazil, with major buyers shifting away. Some describe it as a 5-alarm fire, as a quarter of historical sales vanish, prices running 20% higher. That's how you get crops to the field and no buyers at harvest. It's not complicated. If you build tariff walls, you shrink markets, you shift the pain to the families who cannot absorb this.
Fertilizer, fungicides, pesticides, seed, all the other things that go into commodities farming, those prices are at an all-time high. and then the price of the commodities themselves are at an all-time low. We don't just feed the United States, we feed the world. So farmers have always very heavily relied on the international sales presence to keep things driving from a financial perspective in rural America.
$66 billion is very welcome. That will help. But these other economic factors are still going against them. And while the support in the Big Beautiful Bill is welcome, that doesn't necessarily address those longer term issues.
A USDA study found that over 2/3 of crop workers are foreign born. This same study found that 42% of crop workers do not have proper work authorization. But collecting reliable data for the industry as a whole is challenging.
There's generally a shortage of farm labor, which is the reason why you have a lot of these undocumented workers working on American farms. The administration contends that there are enough workers, native-born workers, to take their place. But most people in agriculture just think that's not a realistic expectation to have people with no experience in agriculture take these jobs for very low pay.
Your choice as a farmer and a worker is, I'm not going to harvest my crops and make a profit, or as a worker, I'm not going to be able to get a job. You just work around that system, and that's led to undocumented immigration. I really believe that this is a direct result of having people in control of agricultural policy that just don't understand agriculture.
There's also a straightforward way to relieve this chronic labor squeeze that keeps fields from being planted, picked, and processed. Just fix immigration. A modernized pathway that lets longtime farm workers earn legal status and ultimately citizenship would stabilize crews. It would protect workers from exploitation and bring more people fully into the tax base, state and federal, just like any other workforce. Analysts tracking 2025's downturn note steep drops in agricultural labor. At the same time, tariffs and lost markets bite. Without people, cows don't get milked, crops don't get harvested. Smart immigration reform is not charity. It's essential infrastructure for American agriculture.
When people tell you, as farmers, we were lied to, that is absolutely not the case. We all knew what was coming. I thought we all knew this was the bargain we were driving. So when people come up and say now, oh, we were lied to. By what, your own eyes? You didn't notice last time you did this? What do you mean you were lied to? To genuinely think you were lied to. I think at this point you had to have wanted to be lied to. And that's not being lied to anymore. That's participating in a little group LARP activity. This we were lied to thing is just real interesting to watch, because if you were there, no, we were not lied to. We all knew this was going to happen, and people just assumed that free money would be there. He courted farmers in 2024 because he needed them, and now that he's in power, he doesn't need farmers anymore. He doesn't need us anymore. It's as simple as that. This is a guy who got kind of famous for stiffing his contractors. He doesn't need us anymore.
So here's where I land after hearing from growers and advocates like Sarah Tabor. Not everyone wearing a Carhartt is working class. Farm owners' interests don't always align with farm workers. Critics argue the current playbook prioritizes the largest and most capitalized operations, those best positioned to weather tariff shocks, pocket deregulation, lobby for carve-outs. Smaller farmers, seasonal workers, and rural communities, they absorb the damage. If we care about the families on those back roads and the prices in your grocery cart, policy has to stop rewarding performative toughness and start rewarding outcomes. Stable markets, fair labor, programs that don't yank the rug after farmers make investments in good faith. That's not partisan. It's common sense, folks.